What is happening, everybody? Happy Monday morning. I am the Samp. He is Professor Bear. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. We are back. We are live. We told you we were coming back, didn't we, Professor?
Yes, we did. We're
Shout out to
coming back with a vengeance.
Absolutely. Big shout out to Mama T and the gang for singing us in. Love that voice. What a woman. You got to meet her. You got to meet her, man. She's something
I,
else.
I'm I'm looking forward to it because
She is this generation's Big Mama Thurston.
oh, I love Big Mama Thurston.
You know, and people who don't know who Big Mama Thurston is, I know I just dropped this on you, Bear, because you probably didn't think I even knew who she was, right?
Yeah,
You know,
that's like wow, that's a good one.
right? Like who I can still
Well,
surprise you.
I was gonna say I shouldn't have been surprised because I know you are a music junkie. So between wrestling and music, I know you know it.
Oh no, well, Big Mama Thurston, man. I mean, when someone told me that Elvis Presley wasn't the one who sang Hound Dog first, I said, no, that's not true. That's not true. Because I'm a huge Elvis mark, right?
Right.
Contrary to what people say, I separate the man from the music. That's the way I look at it, right? I mean, if that was the case, I wouldn't like half the people I like musically.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So that all being said, when I heard Mama Thurston's version of Hound Dog, I'm like, oh my God, this is so much better than what Elvis ever did with it. It just made me think of old Mother Hubbard and standing by the cupboard. If old Mother Hubbard was the soul singer, this is what it would sound like, right? She just did it so well. And that guitar playing, she is like, the queen of rock and roll.
Yes.
So big shout out to Mama Thurston. Hopefully you guys go check her out. We're not going to get anything from it, but hey, man, nothing but love for Mama Thurston. But listen, brother, man, we've had an interesting, crazy week of wrestling. I won't say it's crazy. I think it's been pretty standard. The Queen and King of the Rings have started up. Looks like we're going to Saudi Arabia for Night of Champions, so it's all kind of tying up into that show as well. But a lot of things to kind of dissect and break down here. Where should we start? Should we start with the WWE?
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, actually, let's go opposite. Because we generally always start with WWE.
Okay, what do you want to start with?
Let's start with TNA, which is
TNA.
yeah. Let's talk about what they've been doing lately.
Okay,
And
and it seems pretty quiet on their front, doesn't it?
yeah, it does. And I'm not a big person that gets into the tribalism and oh, they only had this many people and the blah blah that and
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
But I have noticed that TNA hot streak has went away. Their numbers are starting to dwindle back down.
Yeah.
And I'm curious if it's them and the quality of their storyline. Is it the less inclusion of the NXT people? Because they still have NXT people on the show, but and let's be real, they're the lower card of NXT.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that, and then I wonder if it's WWE loves their new shiny toy with Triple A and everything they're doing amazing, that they're more focused on that. I'm just curious about.
I tell you what, Bear. I know your curiosity is well founded, my friend. And just if I may, if I could answer this, I would say it's like a pot of gumbo, and everything you said is an ingredient that's going into it. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that there is no JC Jane. I think a lot of that fact has to do there is no Trick Williams. I think it has to do with the fact there's no Joe Henry on the program as well. This for me is kind of clearly indicating because the product itself hasn't changed. The product is still good. Everything that we're seeing is still TNA. I think that, like you said, I think the shiny toy is kind of taken over a little bit. But at the same time, I don't think the influx of the talent that they have coming through has the name that those other names had. I mean, I'm just speculating on my part here. Because I know the involvement's still going on, but when you don't have the bigger names, so it's kind of like in hockey. It's like the minor leagues have called up all the guys up to the main roster, And now you got to wait for these new crops to kind of mature and get into their role. Because you look at TNA outside of the women's division, there's no guy, in my opinion, that stands out. And no disrespect to Tony D'Angelo. I mean, he is the senior statesman there now, right? But he doesn't have that pull or that, like I hate to say, but if he gets called up to the main roster, he's that guy who gets mixed in and ends up getting released.
Right. He doesn't stand out right
No,
now.
no, he doesn't.
And
And there's no one on the guy side who stands out.
right. And I think that may be an issue. And look, with TNA, I love Mike Santana.
Yeah,
Mike Santana is the champion that they need for the work rate.
sure.
But
He doesn't translate though.
no, that's what I was gonna say. He's honestly, and this is always an issue with baby faces.
Hmm.
When they get the title, they dip down because they're better at the chase than the defense.
Well, it's like any good guy in the world. Okay, you look at any movie that has a good guy. Let's look at John Wick. The whole movie, he's chasing, he's chasing, he's chasing. He finally wins at the end, but then you get the credits. So you never see him enjoy the victory. There's never a movie of the guy living life with all the glory. The
True.
sequel
True.
always shows him 5 years later, and he's lost everything, and everything's to shit, and he's chasing again. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
like good guys
And,
are only good guys when they're chasing. Once they have the title, nobody wants to be your friend anymore. They hate you.
I think too, and it's always been said,
Hmm.
a great champion is not great unless he have great opponents.
Right.
And again, I honestly, outside of Eddie Edwards, I don't see any great. Look, Dolph Ziggler, Ryan Nemeth, amazing man,
Absolutely.
amazing athlete, but his shine has worn off on me.
Sure.
Uh, and I think that's a product of their booking
Hmm.
and me not being interested that I don't follow the product like the early TNA days. Now
So
again, I'm not knocking any of the athletes there because they're hell
no,
of
no, no, no,
athletes.
no, no, no knocking at all. We're just talking about the program. But hey, I have a question. When you guys watch TNA down south, how do you guys get it? You get it on Bravo, right? Or where did they move to? They
I
moved
think
to
it's Discovery Channel,
or Discovery or
but
Bravo?
no, A&E,
A&E.
A&E,
They're on A&E in the States.
uh, not
I,
A&E, uh, A AMW. That's it.
oh, AMC or AMC or
It's AMT.
AMT. It was a
C
country
C
music
C
station.
C.
The AMC, yeah. So that's what I thought. Okay.
Yes.
Now, do you think that AMC in the States, and I'm going to throw Sportsnet here as well in Canada, because Sportsnet had all the exclusive rights to WWE before they went to Netflix and everything else, right? So they
Right.
lost all that and they picked up TNA as the replacement product for the station. So we get TNA every Thursday now on Sportsnet in Canada. But I don't see any advertisement. I don't, and maybe I'm not, maybe I haven't paid attention to it, but I think after this, I'm going to start looking closer to Sportsnet because how much are they advertising? How much information is out there about the program? You know what I mean? Like it almost feels like the show's there, but they're not promoting it. We're not seeing it,
The promotion is
or it's just not in my
small.
algorithm because
It,
I'm
it,
not paying
it,
attention.
it's not rememberable when because I can remember when I see AEW commercial. I definitely remember WWE because they stick out.
Yeah,
It's bam,
yeah.
bam.
AEW too.
Yeah. And it's like TNA's is eh. It's like one of those you're having that talk and you appreciate this. You're having that conversation with your wife,
Yeah.
and she's like, "What do you want to eat?" Well, it don't matter to me.
Mm.
I'm just indifferent. I just want to make you happy.
Well, I tell you what, man, it's ironic. And like I said, yes, last week. We will stick to the program, but we will go off on tangents. So here's tangent number one. Yesterday we went out and we're out and about and we finished the shopping and she says, I'm hungry. And I look at the time, I'm like, holy shit, it's already 7 o'clock. How did that happen? Right. And even though the days are longer, I still get confused. Like I'm looking outside, I'm thinking, oh, it's only 3 or 4, but it's already 7. So she goes, oh, should we go to this restaurant? I'm like, yeah, why don't we go? And so we go there. I'm like, you know what? There's one up the road, the exact same restaurant. Why don't we just go there? We'll be closer to home. She goes, okay. We drive there. Shit's closed.
Oh,
So, so prime example. There you go, man. I left it up to her, and I still messed it up somehow. God bless.
hey,
God bless. I didn't know it was closed. How could it be closed? I didn't know.
it happens. It happens.
Yeah, but then the whole conversation came to like, you Google everything else. Why didn't you Google this? I go, I didn't want to.
I just wanted something simple. I thought it was
I thought it'd be
convenient.
easy. It's
Everybody's
never
going
been.
to get a win
Yeah,
out of this.
it's never been closed. I've never seen it closed. Why would it be closed? The one day, Bear, the one day that I. But hey, that's that. But look, TNA, look, it's a good product. Okay, I have no problem with
Yeah,
it, but it just there's something lacking there. I don't know what it is per se. It's 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 a super indie, really. That's what it is.
yeah, yeah,
And it's not like an elite super indie that it was maybe 6 7 months ago. It's just a super indie now. They're still doing good stuff out there and they're still doing good things, but I just feel like they're lacking promotion and they're lacking eyes, like people to really know what's going on. Like, if you didn't think about it, you would think, and this shows how short the attention span of the human being is nowadays. If you're not enlightening them or making them feel excited, you forget them.
yeah. With TNA, even with the Hardys there, you know, they're well-established name, right? They're superstars, but they don't excite me like that. It's
Yeah, but
like,
it's but that's just the
just the
thing it
Hardys.
is. Like it
Oh,
just
oh, we're doing the broken gimmick again.
right. But no, I get it. But you just like you're all these names that they have were big names at one time.
Exactly.
They're not the
Oh,
same names they were. And even when they were big names, they were never big enough, in my opinion. And I say this with all humility, Bear. They were never big enough to carry the company or change the direction of of
right.
of the company to elevate it. Now, a guy like Chris Jericho, people say, him coming back and everything, he elevated the company again just by his presence, because the ratings, right? Like I've never looked at ratings. I kind of just look at the program. Chance is all about ratings, right?
Right.
He bases everything he knows and what he thinks on the numbers. And you can't argue with that either. I appreciate that angle.
Yeah.
But I
Right.
also look at things like, a show with 50 people can be 100 times better than any WrestleMania.
Hell yes. Yes.
But unfortunately, because of the lack of crowd and people not watching, that's how analytics work, right?
Right.
That's the unfortunate part. We're not looking at the product, which is why I'm trying to take our focus more on the product and what we're actually watching, opposed
Yes.
to who said, she said, this guy, that guy, TKO, RE, blah, 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 and I'll throw Tony Khan in there too. Forget all that. We're just focusing on the program. So,
Yes.
but that being said, it's just you look at the names that they have, there is no one to elevate the product right now. There's
Well,
nobody who stands out, but there is a Bear.
no. I agree with you 100%. But here's the one of their issues. Every time they have someone, somebody snatches them. Look, Joe Hendry, Jordan Grace, um, Javon Evans is going to be, not Javon, um, his sometime tag team partner.
Yeah,
He lost the X Division title.
yeah,
I promise you, he's gone. He's
yeah.
going to be in WWE. Every time they get some momentum, their stars get snatched up. Like I said, with Mike Santana,
Yeah,
I love Mike Santana,
yeah,
but he's not a ratings mover, and that's no disrespect to them.
Well, I
But
mean, yeah,
as soon as the contract comes due, WWE is going to be like, "Hey, I know you." And again, I don't mean any disrespect in the way I word this, but hey, we know you're a big fish in that small pond. Wouldn't you rather be a big fish in a big pond?
yeah,
And we're
no,
gonna go
100%.
against that.
I get that, but here's the other thing. Let's look at the talent that we're talking about here: Joe Henry, Jordan Grace, um, potentially Mike Santana at some point here as well.
Right.
Potentially the tag team partner who lost the X division as well at some point here. The list goes on and on. But how many of these talents, without not knowing them, without not speaking to them, not having the capability to read minds, and if we had that capability, shit, dude, I
This
don't
be a
know what would happen to everyone.
whole different podcast.
Right? Very different. How many of them are using TNA as a stepping stone to get inside that other door? Because I mean, if you look at the past to the WWE, it's about combines, it's about performance centers, it's about tryouts. What are the other angles now? You look at AAA, you look at Evolve, and you look at TNA. Those are the three doors they have now open to talent to get into the main roster.
Right.
And what a lot of the TNA guys are doing, they're using the NXT door to get in
Yes.
and make their way in. So do you feel perhaps maybe a lot of this talent is viewing TNA as a stepping stone to get back to the show or
I,
get invited to the dance?
I think that is a great view of it because for a lot of wrestlers, the end all be all is WWE.
End of the
That's
day.
the goal. That nothing else for them. And again, I'm not, and that's cool. But then you sit and for me, TNA has been around since geez, what was it? I want to say oh 03, oh
Yeah,
02.
early 2000s.
Right.
Yeah.
So I remember all the struggles. I remember going over my dad's house and he had a box. And every Wednesday, well, every other Wednesday, I would go over and watch the pay for watch it.
Mhm.
Then, life started happening and they didn't catch my attention. Then they finally got a network channel. Okay, I'm giving them a little try. They have Evan Flows. That's what I'm getting at
Yeah,
with
yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah.
And I think that they are starting to go through the down spiral of their flow. TNA will recover. They are like the cockroaches of wrestling.
Hey, absolutely. They're like the NWA, and I don't mean that in a bad way, right? They're just still there.
Exactly.
Now, but do you think it's a downfall, or is it just because they don't have the rub anymore? Because the product hasn't changed. The product is the same. Nothing's really changed. There's nothing they're doing that makes me want to turn it off. Is it because they
Right.
don't have that extra oomph and push from WWE, which was promoting them? Which is why
I
I circle back to the promotion. How much are they self promoting themselves?
I think it's a combination of both
Yeah.
because look, I'm gonna bring like Scott Demore. When they let him go,
Yeah. Good
the
Canadian.
vibe with the company just changed.
Right.
And everybody was just like, oh, they gonna die, blah, blah, this, that, the other. Then WWE came into a partnership and boom, they took off again. And now it seems they on that roller coaster ride. They're at the top now. They started to slowly drop down. And with I, any promotion, and it's easy for me to say because I'm not an athlete.
Hmm.
I'm not wrestling. I'm just a wrestling fan.
Sure.
So, but I look at some promote. I sometimes it's okay to be that big fish in the small pond. It's okay to have your career as I don't want WWE. They have the schedule I want. They're paying me well. I'm happy.
Yeah.
So it's not again, none of this is a knock on them. I just they have they have did nothing to draw me in,
Well,
basically.
no, and that's what I'm saying. Like I said, maybe they are promoting, and I come back to the algorithm because that's such a big thing nowadays, right? Determining on the For You page on whatever platform that you consume your social media on. They're not in my feed in any way, right? And I get a lot of
Right,
wrestling. I get a lot of wrestling on my feed because wrestling and boxing is what we do, and
right.
cars and music. You know what I mean? That's all that shows up on my feeds, and and I'm just like I'm not seeing TNA.
Yeah.
So I don't
I
maybe it's me not looking for it either. Let's just be honest, right? Like I mean,
yeah.
we're saying all the things we're saying, but how much am I going out of my way to look for it? And it also comes down to the fact, like we've talked about this on this show and other shows, within from Monday to Friday alone, okay, we're looking at two and a half, 5, 8 hours alone from WWE.
Yeah.
That's Raw, NXT, and SmackDown. Okay.
Right.
SmackDown is supposed to go down to 2 hours, by the way.
Again, yes.
Again. Okay. There you go. Then you throw in a 3 hour episode of AEW, which I'm really trying, or 2 hour episode of AEW, which I'm trying
Well,
to embrace more and more.
right. If you and well, honestly, it's 4 hours with Collision and
Well,
Dynamite.
if you throw that in the Saturday, yes, in a 4 hour total block there. So where
Right.
are we at? We're 8, 4, 12 hours. Then you throw in TNA, which is an hour, which is great, right?
Is it an hour? I
I
thought it
think
was two.
okay, let's call it two. Let's
Okay.
call it two. All right, so that's 14 hours. Then you throw in AAA, which I'm watching now a bit more because it's an easy watch on Saturdays
Right.
and it's on YouTube, so I can go back to it if I have to. Um, all in all, Bear, pay-per-views aside, Saturday night main events aside, we're looking at about 15 hours a week of consumable wrestling.
Yes.
Now, you can throw JCW in there too. You can throw New Japan in there too.
You throw NWA. You
NWA, right? Like,
and,
you
and oh, and Ring of Honor. How
Ring
can
of
we
Honor.
forget?
So let's say in a week you have 24 to 25 hours of wrestling that we can watch. Now, unfortunately, at this stage of the game, we're not at the point where I feel that we can sacrifice 24 hours of life.
Oh, yeah, definitely not.
And unfortunately, the big boys are the big boys, and that's where we're going to go to first, right? So, if I look at how much I consume, I'm consuming 8 to 10 hours a week easy.
Yeah,
And that's not
yeah.
including TNA and stuff like that because I'll go back and watch it. AAA is easy because it's Saturday night. I'm at work and it's just something to put on, right? Saturday
Right.
TV sucks as it is anyway. So you're not missing
You're
anything on the boob tube, right? So, and that's one thing, thankfully, over the generations of life, nothing that has never changed. Saturday TV still sucks,
right.
right? Growing up as a kid, the highlight of Saturday TV was Star Trek at 7 p.m., The Next Generation. And if we were lucky and if I didn't get caught, I would watch NWA slash WCW
Right.
on Saturday night at 11 p.m. Right. So that's what it was like a kid. But yeah, look, you know what? Let's see where they go. TNA is TNA. Like you said,
Yeah.
they are the cockroaches of wrestling. And we don't mean that in a bad way. The
No,
world
not
can
at
be
all.
eradicated. Everything can go to shit. But at the end of the day, when the dust clears and everything clears, instead of the
Yes, it
Undertaker's fist coming out of the rubble, we'll see a little cockroach come out with the TNA logo on its back.
is.
So that's TNA in a nutshell. Guys, girls, let us know what you guys think of TNA. And if we're right, if we're wrong, what are your views? We would love to know what you guys think. And we will
Definitely.
love, and we'll know if people have listened this far. Okay.
So I
Yeah.
think I think the natural progression to the next story should be TNA, AEW,
Yeah.
NXT. All
Yeah.
three are running a pay-per-view the in two in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Forbidden
They
Door.
all have a Sunday pay-per-view.
Yeah. We got for Forbidden Door. Or
We got Slammiversary and the Great American Bash, I believe.
Yeah, well, so basically, oh my goodness, I put Forbidden Door in my search here, and it sent me to Walmart for a door. No joke, dude. It sent me to Home Depot, and and it sent me. So is that's really bad for AEW if you're searching Forbidden Door and it sends you to the shopping page for
You got to make sure you throw those letters in. Maybe
No, I got it now here. And that was Google who was doing it to me. Okay, so June 28th at
yes,
the SAP Center in San Jose. So yeah, so we got
three
that.
weeks. I said two, but 3 weeks.
Yeah, yeah. So it's June 28th, man. 2 weeks from
Yep.
now. Yeah, there you go. So is Great American Bash still happening, or is that moved to Night
Yeah.
of Champions? Oh, the NXT Great American Bash
Yes.
and
Yes.
Slammiversary.
You know.
Correct, correct.
Yeah, because they
Because
took a
Night of
lot of the
Champions
big
is
names.
yeah,
And
yeah. So out of all those shows, the three biggest ones, AEW's got the main marquee,
oh yeah.
right? A Great American Bash will be. See, this is the problem now. Okay, at least TNA has a place to put pay-per-views. Would this pay-per-view, the Great American Bash, be on YouTube for you guys in the States?
Yes.
Okay, so for us, it's on Netflix.
Right.
So it's easier accessible. So based on that alone, it's I think it's safe for Tony. Tony wouldn't have done this if it was going up against the main roster. I don't think. And the reason I say that, I think Tony has proven to me that he's gone around and changed dates to stay away from WWE during that time if they're running something, right?
And honestly, I think it's a good strategy.
Why not?
What why they've always said they've been a counter programming to WWE. They go out of their way not to go head to head with them,
Mm,
even to the fact, oh, we can't change the date, we'll change the time, we'll make it earlier.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, look, I mean, three shows, you can't go wrong. There's a bit of everything for everyone, right? Consider it a
Exactly.
Golden Corral buffet. I mean, I've never been to Golden Corral, but I've heard horrible things about it. But that still makes me want to go at least one time to experience Golden Corral, right? I don't know. Have you ever been?
Yes, yes.
Good, bad, shit.
It depends. It's like throwing a rock in the ocean. You might hit something good. You might just be like,
Is it worth
then
the price though?
yes, yes. Especially me and my me and my wife go. Two of us can eat for $25.
See,
We ain't,
that's awesome, man. Because the closest one to me is about 45 minutes to an hour away, but I'd have to cross the border to go there. Um, but I don't know if I would do that now because I'd be known back in the day to just hop in my car at 11 o'clock at night and drive down for Jack in the Box. So, that's how close it was. Growing up as a kid, we grew up on the border.
right.
So when we skipped school, we'd go to Blaine and hang out in Washington State. Right? That's what we used to do. Right. So that's how close we were. I don't know how many times when cell phones first came out, I had to call and correct my bill because I'd be roaming in the States all the time. So, it just shows how far everything comes. But,
Oh yeah.
it's like a buffet. It's a smorgasbord. It's a bit for everybody, right? The question is what they're going to provide for us. And based on what we've already talked about, it looks like TNA is the one that's going to lose out here,
Yeah, unfortunately.
right? I think WWE NXT is going to be a close second, maybe a distant second. But it's all about AEW and taking advantage of this opportunity and
Yes,
standing
yes.
out, right? Like I don't know what the card is yet. We'll break it down next week, and we'll talk about the card. We'll do a preview for the Forbidden Door. We'll do a preview for all three shows next week, and because that will be kind of tying into where we're at for that time. Or you know what? I think we'll be end up no. No, no, we will be able to do it. We'll be able to do a preview because it'll be the 22nd when we come back to everyone next Monday. Yeah. So it's a week before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're good. We're good. We're organizing dates and everything here. So you can see us, we're thinking and working in real time here, people. But look, no, three shows, not a problem. It is what it is. I mean, it's right before the July long weekends for both of us. Our nation's birthdays are 2 days apart, or 3 days
And
apart.
and
So
Professor's birthday is in that mix too.
perfect. When is the bear?
July the 10th.
Beautiful, brother man. We're gonna do a special show for that one.
That sounds good.
How old are you gonna be, brother? 21?
Oh, I will be hitting 5'3".
That's it.
Yep, that's it.
You look like you're 4'3".
But I feel like 93, so that's the main problem.
Well, we're gonna have to change that, brother bear man, because I'm only a couple of years behind you, and I refuse to be 51. I still tell everyone I'm 30 something, and I think I get away with it. So
I the thing is, I embrace it. I love it. The older I get, that means God has gave me another
no, no,
favor.
no, no, no,
So
absolutely. But at the same time, here's what I'm trying to get at here. Like, even though we're now in the back half of the course, as I call it,
yeah,
okay, we are on the ninth and 10th hole, respectively, right? And the reality I've come to now is I need to make myself physically as strong as I possibly can. I ran through a gap here where I had accident and this and that pushed me away from what I love, being in the gym and training. And these last 3 weeks, last month, I've been going to the gym consistently. I've been training that blood flow, that my energy, my mind, my mindset, my lack of anger and things like that have all kind of dissipated. I forgot how good it felt, right? So,
oh yeah.
I just implore everybody, don't stop just because of the age. Keep going. I mean, without steroids and stuff, we can still look amazing.
I tell you what, I can't physically do what I would like to do,
Sure,
but
sure.
I'm definitely in a great spot, being blessed to talk about the
100%,
sport
brother
that
man.
we love.
Absolutely. Very Gunther like. I love that. The sport that we love. And I'm going to use that sport that we love as a transition, if I may, to the next topic
Yes.
here. Okay. I looked at Raw and SmackDown this week, and I'm thinking to myself two things. Okay. And Chance has talked about it. And, I have to agree with him here. When I look at Jacob Fatu and Gunther, what have they done with these two characters? You got Jacob Fatu, who's a Samoan werewolf, who's vicious as heck, and everything you can imagine you want him to be. He's that guy. He's a manga that can talk. Okay.
Right.
Without the face paint. He can articulate, he can talk. You know what I mean? I can't even do it the way he can, right? But and then you have Gunther, who's brought up to be this legend killer, this just dominant force, the sport that he loves. Do
That
you
that
feel that they've dropped the ball on these two guys? One, because Jacob is kneeling, and just from a storyline perspective, just from the initial thought, I don't think so myself personally.
right.
But when people are watching it, people are commenting it on X, on wherever they're commenting. They're like, "Oh, why is he taking the knee?" They've just destroyed this monster by having him take a knee to Roman Reigns, right? I personally don't think that. I think it's more of a story arc. There's more to come. This isn't the end. This is him kind of laying low. This is Jacob, and I'm talking about Jacob. I think this is that part of the story where he's just going to be in the background. He's going to do what he has to do, but something's gonna flip. Something's gonna break, and it's gonna happen. And I think the MFT is gonna have something to do with it as well. I think the storyline with Royce Keys and the MFTs and the storyline with Jacob and them together. This is a really interesting dynamic. People don't really see. I don't think personally people aren't paying attention to all the stories that are kind of intertwined in here.
And I have to give WWE credit. Like I said, I'm quick to
Sure.
throw hate on things, but one of the credits that I love, and you have to pay attention to the show because they give you little Easter eggs. May not seem like much right then, but then later on, it's like, you know what? A couple of weeks ago, I did see that. It
Yeah.
makes sense
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, like I like the story arc going forth with Jacob. I'm not mad at all. I see his future where he can be the man. I, it's gonna happen.
I think so too, but this is just that part of the story that we have to watch. And like, and again, if we're equating wrestling to a movie, and because that's what it is, it's a TV show, right? It has ebbs and
Right.
flows, like you said, it has ups and downs. It leaves you wondering about things. It leaves you guessing about things that makes you want to come back. But I think people are so quick to pull the trigger. Oh, that shouldn't be happening. This is wrong. Well, let's look at the bigger picture. Sometimes you have to take two steps back in order to take 10 forward. And in the case of Jacob Fatu, it would have been too easy to take the title off of Roman right away like that. It would have been too easy. How far could that story have gone at this stage?
Exactly.
It wouldn't have lasted long at all. It would have lost its luster really fast, in my opinion. Right. But
And then
now you still have Solo involved. And then you got the, and I didn't even think Royce Key would fit into any of this. And because I didn't look, and I like how they incorporate the past histories of these guys, right?
right,
WWE isn't afraid to mention that they knew each other on the indie scenes, right? The WWE world is no longer just a closed world like a video game world. It's expanded, right? They're acknowledging, not by name perhaps, but they're acknowledging that these guys had lives out of this corporation
exactly.
before and during wrestling, right? They all come from the same area. So the fact that Solo, was there on in Clash of Italy to look at Jacob as he had to hang his tail between his legs and walk away. Like you saw SmackDown, right? You saw the
Yeah,
segment with Royce and Solo at the end.
right.
How can you disagree with anything Solo said there? From
You
a story
can't.
perspective, he's a bad guy. Yes, he's a bad
Yeah.
guy. We're not supposed to like him, but all the shit he said was right.
What's that old saying that some of the best character work is that heel that's telling the truth. That's why we
100%.
love McIntyre so much.
Yeah.
He wasn't lying. He was telling the truth.
He
And
was
a
telling the
lot of
truth.
people,
Yep.
bro, and a lot of times people forget they don't look at that person's perspective. Because going back to McIntyre, he told the truth about everything. It was from his point of view. He wasn't wrong. And for them to make a bad guy look like a good guy and get the crowd behind him, that is masterful work.
The part that made Drew even better was the fact that even though he was telling the truth, he still hated him because he became whiny about it. The way he was telling the truth in a whiny, wah wah kind of
And
style that made it
is that
even better.
not what Sammy is doing?
Here's the thing with Sammy, and as we segue into Sammy now, he's hindering Gunther. He's hindering that story, but that's the story. This pesky cockroach won't go away. He has no place in that title picture. He has nothing to do with what's going on. But he is just, his work is so good that I'm starting to hate the guy.
You know, when you can get emotions, whether you like them or hate them, you know that character, that person is doing their job.
Right.
And I look at it like this. Now you throw Sammy in the mix. Now it's going to be Sammy,
Gunther.
Cody, and Gunther.
Yeah.
That protects Gunther. That protects.
But does it
Uh,
protect Gunther? Let's just touch on that really quickly here
yeah,
because Gunther was a part of that Jacob arc that I kind of threw out there, right?
right.
Legend Killer was supposed to fight Brock. I don't think Brock wanted to fight him, which is why it didn't happen. Okay. Which is why we have the Oba stuff happening that we're seeing and it's continuing, sort of seal. Do you like, and again, taking Gunther off of Raw totally makes sense because you kind of have him on the same show with Roman. You can't,
Yeah.
he won't grow. This is where he's going to grow. But do you feel that they've taken edge and luster off this guy? This guy's being like, built up, torn down, built up again, torn down. How many times is this going to happen before fans just look at the guy and go, well, forget this dude?
Well, again, they painted themselves in a corner with Gunther
Yeah.
because you cannot continuously go back and forth with a talent and think they're gonna rock. As much as I love Gunther, I love his style. He's a throwback. There's only so many times that he can go on the streak, then you bury him, then repurpose him and bury him. That's why I'm not so upset with the Sami thing because it makes so much sense of how many times did Sami legitimately get screwed out the world title? How many times has he sacrificed for the other people? Look at Cody. How many times he took shots for Cody and they're friends, but look how Cody responded to half of that. I mean, look,
Well, I look at the
and
story.
maybe
Yeah.
this is why I like Sammy and understand it because Cody has been a dick. There's no ifs, ands, or but about it.
He's a natural
Cody,
dick, though. He's a natural
oh,
dick in life.
yeah, he's all about Cody. And
Like
if
even on
Cody
his TV show, he's a dick.
Cody does whatever
Yeah.
to gain for his favor, like Sammy calling him the Golden Boy.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody else has to work to get a title shot, not Cody.
No. No, no,
And
and I get that, but it's the way he's delivering it. He's doing it so immaculately that you can't stand the guy, right? I think, really, in my opinion, Gunther needs to have that title. Cody doesn't need it.
I
You
do,
need to put it in Gunther, and maybe the fact that Sammy's there, he's the catalyst that will cost Cody the title,
which
right?
would be amazing.
Right.
But
I believe we're getting into a triple threat match with these three,
oh, I do too.
right? And I
And
believe Gunther wins the title there.
here's what my thought. What if Sammy wins it? And you don't, and Sammy, a lot of
Oh, I
times
mean,
people,
it's look, we're not
and
far
no,
away
but
from it.
here's my thought process. He
Yeah.
doesn't need a long reign. He could finally accomplish getting the world title.
Yeah.
And then Gunther smashes him, takes the title.
Well, dude,
Because of Cody.
well, you look at it again. Look at this beautiful storytelling that we're getting, and people are so lost and blinded. This is why I want to bring storytelling back to wrestling and bring it and put it in the light. Look at the history of Gunther and Sammy,
Because Sammy even mentioned that.
right?
He
Like,
made
who
a
beat
point to
him for the
tell him
title?
exactly.
Who's the guy who beat the streak? I mean, it's Sammy. Sammy and Kevin took the titles away from the Usos. Let's not forget about that. They wrecked that streak. Sammy broke the streak of Gunther for the Intercontinental title. Now, if you want to put it on Sammy, great. You give him his moment, which I know he deserves. I totally agree he deserves. Okay. If you're going to take it off for Jay after a month, then it's no problem to take it off of Cody or sorry, uh, uh,
Sammy.
Sammy in a month either.
I, I,
But
I
the other
wouldn't even give,
direction,
I
sure.
wouldn't even give Sammy a month. I would give him I look, I would have them at the July pay-per-view, whatever it is.
Well,
I would let him win it.
well, hey, dude, if we're booking, I have two potential ways that this story could go. Okay, and
Okay.
this is my mind working as you're talking right off the bat. Sammy wins, okay, but Cody costs him the title to Gunther.
Exactly.
Okay, so now you have Cody and Sammy separated, and they can have their own feud without the title. They don't need it. This opens Gunther now, which what we want to see: fresh new talent, new faces, new challenges. That opens the door to Trick. So you
Uh,
get a Gunther Trick feud for the title. And Trick drops the title to Carmelo or someone on that side. Okay.
right.
And you basically can push Trick up where he needs to be next. And
you have new fresh faces.
yeah.
Plus, here is another one. We're gonna have Chad on
Oh, Chad's
Smack,
coming back too. Chad's coming back
and
as well.
that's a new face.
Yeah.
He's already made himself super hot.
Yeah.
Let him go for the title. Again, there's so many different elements, and that's what I like.
Yeah.
It I like that you don't know who can win, who you have legitimate contenders. You don't know what path they're gonna go, but
Yeah.
you can intertwine them, make it make sense. And with Cody, you can get Cody to really start screwing Sammy around. So
Exactly.
people start that. Wait a minute, Cody, why are you doing this?
Yeah. And you know
It's
what?
so
You can
much
throw
to play
Kevin in there
with.
too at some point as well, because Owens is ready to come back at some point here.
Exactly.
Right. So you can throw something together there that can work really, really cool, where you have Cody beating on Sammy, say, for example, and then the dun music hits and he runs out, Kevin Owens, I'm talking about, and he attacks Sammy. You know, like I'm just throwing it in different angles here because I mean that
Or
right. And then he looks
and,
at Sammy and goes, I've been sitting at home, you whiny little bitch. Enough is enough. Become a man. You know what I mean? Because again, all these guys are intertwined in the last couple of years, and the promos between Trick and Gunther would be phenomenal. And that's what you want to see right now, right? This is
exactly.
you got the old school Bruno Sammartino going against this generations of Jesse Ventura and Billy Graham and you know those
Yes.
flamboyant guys. I mean, that's a close. He is that version of those kind of guys right now, right? Without the tie dye and whatnot.
Yeah.
But that makes me wonder as well. Now we got the King and the Queen going on right now. We have WWE Raw guys on SmackDown, SmackDown guys on Raw and whatnot. Brother, do you think maybe the best thing for WWE in terms of ratings and everything is just to combine the shows again the way it used to be? And you have your mainstays on each brand, but you got your main stories on either brand, the top two, three stories on either brand that kind of go back and forth on the other two.
Yeah.
So a brand split, but not a brand split, because I think that would work better and people would tune in more.
I think that the concept of a brand split is dead. And the way that WWE sometimes want to do brand splits, then the next time it does, well, no, we don't have this. But hey, we're signing you the Raw. Well, if you don't have a brand split, why how the hell are you signing
Yeah.
to one show?
I think you can have your core mid card guys and girls on each program stay on their program. All right. But the elevated storylines like Cody and Sammy, especially Jacob and Roman, you got the MFTs and Royce. I feel all those guys should be intertwined in the top two shows. And, if I'm seeing something happening on on Raw, I know I need to go tune into SmackDown to see what happens next. I
Right.
know I know AEW tries to do that with Collision. But here's the problem in my thinking with that is they don't promote it enough, and a lot of cool shit happens on Collision that no one sees.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, they got
no, you didn't
3,000,
know.
they got 3 million views on YouTube, but only 50,000 people watch it actually happen.
Yeah,
This is what I'm saying. They need to do a better job of it, right?
yeah, you get no arguments there.
Like some of the best stuff in AEW happens on Collision.
And since we brought it up, I watched Collision after
Yeah,
I got home.
yeah,
And I think it was like 2 hours after I got home, I finally watched it.
yeah.
And the main event was the women. And all of a sudden, Monet shows up and just beats the crap out of her next opponent.
Yeah.
And then they turned around and gave her opponent her heat.
Yeah.
So, but like you said, most people don't know about it because they don't watch it.
Because they don't realize it's good. Like in that one program, you get more juicy tidbits than you do on the actual main show of theirs, the Dynamite show. So, just like this is why I don't want to shit on AEW for this, but dude, this is the problem. They give good stuff without telling anybody. And
Yeah.
this is where it's at, right? So I don't know, man. Let's see where it all kind of goes here. The other thing I wanted to talk about really quickly, Bear, if I may, we talked about this early on in the program. The shiny toy for WWE is now AAA. The advent of all the titles showing up on their program now. So are they going to do what they did to TNA and try to humble them by taking all their titles? Well, I mean, they already did it with Dominic, right? But I mean, at least Dominic's on the program every week, and they haven't really promoted their titles per se on the show. But is there too many titles in wrestling overall?
Now I think I'm gonna take the opposite approach of most people.
Hmm.
It's not that they have too many titles, it's the fact that they don't make the titles important anymore. And like, okay, like hell, I was shocked to see the War Raiders,
Yeah,
Viking Raiders, or whatever they're called.
yeah.
I was shocked. I was like, oh damn, I forgot y'all were signed to WWE.
Well, look at Ivar, man. He shaved his head.
Yeah. And they come with the AAA titles. I'm like,
Yeah,
wow, when did that happen?
yeah, 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 yeah.
And it's like, then they like, hey, we want to shot the SmackDown and we want to carry the titles. Well, when you have 16 over 3 brands, I mean, it makes your division weak. Now, with that being said, you have champions that hadn't defended their title. I can two right off the back of my head. Liv Morgan has not
Not yet.
defended.
No, she's not defended it once since Mania.
Look, again, and I noticed the old school in me. If you don't defend your title in 30 days, strip you. You
Yeah,
have to make these titles mean something.
yeah,
And I think that's the more of the issue versus too many of them. None of them mean anything.
yeah.
Why do I want to? Well,
It feels like there's more emphasis on the title. I think this is bad storytelling, in my opinion, right? Because you're right. The old school guy, me, if you didn't defend your title in 30 days, something's wrong, right? You got to fix it. You got to change it. It's like the most traditional thing in wrestling to me is the tag team rope. Okay. I know a lot of people may not realize it or recognize it, but I still watch for that because that's huge for me, right? You can't tag your partner. I know it's a TV show. I know what we're watching. I get it. But that tag rope, man, if you're not holding it, you're not following tradition, right? Like we're old school guys. I mean, we've had the privilege and honor of being allowed into locker rooms, and we know how the old school etiquette works. You shake everybody's hand, you say hello. This is what you're supposed to do. I mean, it's wrestling, I get it, but there's a hierarchy and there's a level of respect involved in it. You know what I mean? Especially with the old school, because at the old school level, it meant everything. You know?
because it the level because wrestling was about respect.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, if you didn't respect the sport, you didn't respect what you do. You don't respect that you actually carry another person's life in your hand. You don't need to be in the business.
No, 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 not at all, not at all. But with Liv Morgan, I almost feel that they didn't know what to do with it because they didn't know if Stephanie Vecchio was going to come back. Because logically speaking, that should be the feud still, right? Like Backlash at
Yes.
least or whatever. That should have been done by now, and they should have been able to move on to the next story with her. That's not
Well,
happening. But I have a feeling based on what we saw, now we're going to get this traction happening here. I don't know if it's going to be Roxanne. It might be Raquel.
I'm hoping it's Raquel.
Yeah.
I think I think she's been in it long enough. She
Have that
needs to get
opportunity.
a single run.
Yeah.
And this too that is all I always bring up. This is why you have to have multi players. You never like football, like baseball. like basketball. You never know who is going to get injured. The next man up.
Well, hey, I tell you what, man, we talk about we never know who's going to get injured, but there is one woman that should be ready to come back pretty soon here. And I'm talking about the woman who never lost the title, and that's her belt per se. I
Oh,
think her and Naomi would rip it up.
and I think people would just lose their mind because Naomi had finally
She found her beat.
learned it.
She found
She
her beat.
learned it.
Yeah, she got her beat down. She knew her rhythm. You know what I mean? It's like the drum kit behind me. You get that one little rhythm going. You found that one little, and that's what she's found. She got it, but unfortunately, her man had to put something in her and derail her a little bit. But
Oh,
that's the downside of being a female athlete, unfortunately,
yeah,
right? And that I don't actually. You know what? Let me retract that. I don't know if it's a downside to being a female athlete, but it's an aspect that the female athlete has to deal with in their life that we don't.
exactly.
That we
Yeah,
don't. We're lucky that way, right?
right.
Their windows are open for like just like in wrestling, their windows are limited, and they have to take advantage of it when they can.
Yes,
And if this is the case, and so be it, right? I mean, I think women having kids as wrestlers is now more commonplace than it used to be.
exactly.
Did
And
Moolah
I
ever
mean,
have kids? Did May Young ever have kids? I don't know if they ever had kids.
and the thing about it too, they embrace it. It used to be a stigma. If a woman got pregnant, they just take off. They never explain nothing. And
Because it
damn
was
near
at the end of
fire.
it, right? The body's all done.
Yeah, damn near fire her because
Yeah,
she has the child.
yeah,
Now they're leaning into it. They're showing the proper respect.
yeah,
They're giving the women the time to have their children, bond with them,
yeah.
get back in the ring shape.
And shit, they
Look
come
at
to the
Becky.
shows. They're at all the shows, right?
Exactly.
But the thing is, here's the funny thing, right? And we talked about Bianca and how happy we were to see her and everything and what have you. Is that the first time a pregnant wrestler has been on TV? Something to think about. I've never seen it. Now that we're talking about it, is that the first time they've brought out a prominent female wrestler who's got the bump of bumps? And in her case, a six-pack bump.
Now that you mention it, I think you're right because I cannot recall.
If
Well,
anyone would know, it'd be you and
well,
me,
not
Bear.
and yeah. Even I was gonna say, well, Becky, but she didn't have the bump
No, she
yet.
didn't have the bump. She relinquished the title during the lockout,
Yeah,
sorry, during COVID when they had Money in the Bank at the
right,
headquarters,
right.
right? Still one of my favorite moments, and this is why I miss Vince, AJ, and Daniel Bryan. That's still a classic moment. I go back to watch that segment alone, watching them put all this stuff back on the desk as he's just kind of looking at them. Hey, that's pure Vince right there, man. You gotta love that. I hate him or love him. That was awesome. That still
you
stands
know,
out as one of my favorite moments.
everybody has a moment. No matter you love them or hate them. Vince Russo, you know how I feel about Vince and all the back and forth.
Sure.
He has moments that he's done. Like for me, I love the whole Hulk Hogan, and I'd be damned if I let that ball bastard. I enjoyed that. Enjoy it
No, for
tremendous.
sure. For sure. There are great moments like that. But that's for me personally, that's one that stands out. Like, in fact, after we record, I think I'm just gonna go look it up on YouTube just so I can have a chuckle because it was just so funny. Just the two of them, the way and this the way they interacted. Only those two guys could have pulled it off the way they did,
Oh yeah.
right? No one else could have done that. Um, brother, I'm gonna ask you a question. If they were to get rid of Triple H, Michael Hayes or Paulie?
Paulie.
Paulie? Okay,
And the only reason why Michael Hayes is very underrated.
very.
Michael, I think the only one of the things that keeps him underrated is he's old school. He's Michael, where a lot of people live their gimmicks. Michael is another Ric Flair. That's him.
Mhm.
Don't care. He just that person.
Yeah.
He Michael can go around. You can say, oh, well, Michael Hayes is a racist. He doesn't like. Michael is just he's the same
Yeah.
around every
Absolutely.
race.
Yeah. Yeah.
He plays no favorite race wise. He looks at talent. I think Michael would. I think he deserves to get a shot at the book.
Mm.
I think, but if I had to choose right away, I got to give it to Paulie because he knows talent. He
Yeah.
knows the the main eventers to eat. That's something else that people don't give Paul Heyman enough credit for.
Oh, yeah.
Is the talent where you don't think they're anything, he makes magic out of them.
Well,
He
here's
takes
the other
what
thing
they
about Paul,
have
man. Here's the other thing I've
and
noticed
just
about Paul. I've not seen him take that many bumps in a lifetime that I have seen him take in the last 2 months,
oh
especially
yeah.
at his age. That's insane. Now, I'm going to throw one more name out here before we wrap this up. He's quietly doing his thing down in Mexico, man. Do you think they're priming him up to take over? And I'm talking about Mark Calloway.
I can see it. Another one of the things that I think plays against him
Hmm.
is Mark Calloway is not the Undertaker.
No,
And I think we get so accustomed to a lot of your Ric Flairs that they are their gimmicks.
yeah,
Mark Calloway is not that.
no.
Plus, we didn't have a lot of time. We're just knowing about Mark. We're learning about Mark because Mark is one of the last people who tried to keep kayfabe alive. He rarely did interviews.
And
He
I'm glad that you
rarely
said that.
talked.
I'm glad that you said that because when I look at Mark Calloway, I look at him as the closest thing to a Vince McMahon in booking today. If Vince McMahon had two sons, and forget his kids, forget everything. If he had two sons, one was Triple H and one was Mark Calloway,
Yeah.
right? You think about it. One married the daughter, but Mark Calloway was under that same tree with Vince as well. And a lot
What
of what you're seeing in AAA is a lot of Vince. Not Vince per
yeah.
se, but Vince style booking, Vince thinking. And that's why
And,
AAA is blowing up.
and that's the thing too that
And everyone's scared of The
everybody
Undertaker.
everybody just think it was the Undertaker and that's it. They
Yeah.
don't realize how much Mark went through the system, man. Hell, Mark, and this was one of my favorite matches of his
Hmm.
when Bruiser Brody beat the living shit out of him.
I remember that match.
And a lot of people don't realize that he wrestled under the mat a
Yeah.
mask for a little while.
Yeah.
He he is he's an old school guy
Ultimate.
that
Yeah.
also understands things elevate, things change, but just because it changed don't mean you cannot have the same old school mentality. Just have to tweak it for today's.
And he's the guy to do it, in my opinion. This is why I feel that he should be potentially the next head booker for WWE. He
Honestly,
brings that piece that Triple H doesn't because he wants to be everybody's friend. All right. Mark Calloway will still think like the Undertaker that he's not necessarily going to be in front of the camera all the time. He's not going to be out there taking pictures and doing the thumbs up with everyone who wins the title, right? He
right.
treats it like that. And the other part of it is, I don't care if you're Gen Millennium or Gen Z wrestler, they all respect and fear him at the same time. All right. We talk about the Montreal screw job. People don't know the role of the Undertaker in it as well. Not that he had a bad role, but he was the one who told Vince no. right? Shawn
Go get the
Michaels ran the other way when he heard that the Undertaker was looking for him.
Yep.
Right during the height of DX and the Click, there was another crew called the Bone Street Crew backstage. At the time, there were two cliques running everything. The Click was scared of Taker and gang.
Because they knew if it came down to it, if it broke out into a legitimate fight, their asses would grass.
Oh, dude, you look at that squad on the other side. I mean, I don't care about Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, none of those guys. You're talking about the Godwins. You're talking about, God bless his soul. Yokozuna,
Yokozuna.
all
Yep.
of them, right? He had the Bariquas in that crew. Like, and these were like some really hardcore fellas, right? So, I mean, maybe I have a feeling something's going to shift here soon if they can't figure this out, and I really feel that I think the Undertaker might be the best guy. And I say that because Paulie's already been there. He's had the opportunity,
Yeah.
right?
You know what I would love to see? I would love to see some of these guys leave the WWE and get a chance to use their style on a fresh plane.
Yeah, for sure.
Because,
Who do you have in mind?
yeah, because yeah, you're right. Because I think WWE is like when you are when you're a kid and you're playing with toys. WWE is an established toy. Everybody wants to be at that toy,
Yeah,
but you need to start at the Lego. Start building your blocks. Build the
yeah,
block.
absolutely.
Build that little crappy car. Well,
Yeah,
now, hey, you know what? That messed up. Let me do this. Let me do this. Before
absolutely.
you know it, you got a fortress.
Yeah. No, dude, you're completely right. And you know what? Again, that being all said, I'm excited to see what we are going to get in terms of stories right now because we talked about these amazing stories that potentially can happen down the road. And if they don't happen, then I think you and I need to apply to their writing jobs and get in there because I think some of the stories that we're telling would be amazing.
And I, I always look back and will always say it. You need to be somewhat of a wrestling fan to be a writer.
Yeah.
You don't have to have all the knowledge of wrestling. You
Yeah.
don't have to be the end all be all, but you have to understand the dynamics.
No,
When you
100%.
don't, you get some of the crappiest storytelling, just idiotic, where we as fans are insulted.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
No,
that's
for
what
sure.
happens when you bring in writers from Hollywood and
Yeah.
stuff. And one thing I tell people, I'm a wrestling fan. I'm not an entertainment fan. Now, do I enjoy the entertainment? Of course I do. It's some great stuff. But if I have to choose, give me my wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, we've had two of the four fatal four ways happen so far. So we kind of have two semifinals kind of set up here. One, Oba versus Dominic,
Dominic gonna get the win,
because
unfortunately.
Brock is going to interfere, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we were both on the same page there. And I believe the other side is Raquel versus Io, which is interesting because I've heard rumblings that Io is going to get that rub and go against Liv at SummerSlam.
I I think it's perfect. They have to do something. If they don't do something with Liv soon, she is going to be crap.
No, no, for sure. But do you want Io there? And I love Io. You know me and my Io.
Oh yeah,
You're right. I don't even call her Io. I call her my Io. Right? Like, I mean, it's like I look at her and she's one of my favorite athletes on the roster. Right? Her and Rhea are always going to be my one and two right now until
right.
someone else captures me. But just in terms of their work, just their physical appearance, and just what they bring. And when I say physical appearance, I mean just the energy, what all the
Right.
stuff that they bring to the table. And I just love those two. I really do. But Io's had a lot of chances. And we talked about Raquel. Would it be more appealing to have that story happen and Roxanne interfere and cost her, and Raquel and Roxanne go off on their own.
I
Because she's
think
alienating both of them because Roxanne lost her match and she was totally shunned.
I think it'll be I think it's gonna be Liv that does it. And that then it's gonna because if you notice last week when Liv made the mistake, oh, me and Daddy Dom are gonna be the first couple,
Yeah.
king and queen, and
Both of them are looking at her. Yeah,
yeah, pulled
exactly.
the
Right.
glasses down like
Yeah, yeah. These are little jabs that they're taking here. I think the guy that's missed getting the shaft out of everyone in the Judgment Day is JD.
JD.
Like he's really being exposed for what it is. It's just without anyone around him, he's got nothing going on, man.
Well, honestly, they need to put a bullet in Judgment Day.
I think it's coming. I think it's coming, but then they elevate him again. Like here, we're elevated again. Both two Judgment Day people are in the semifinals.
Yeah, because you got a champion, and it's easy to break it up. You have so many different roads you could go now. So like you always say, let's just see how it
Let's
plays
just see
out.
how it plays out because I don't feel the winner of the King of the Ring is necessarily going to go after Cody. It's a Roman
Oh,
matchup that we're looking at, right?
honestly, I think it's LA Knight.
LA Knight against Roman Reigns at SummerSlam.
Yeah, they
Because
got to
maybe
do something.
that spot necessarily, that's why I thought maybe Oba would win it because Oba, and Roman had that interaction after Mania. And he told him, let's see how the summer plays out. Well, the summer plays out to SummerSlam. So, which is making
Yeah,
me wonder, do we get that match there? Are we going to get Brock and Oba at Night of Champions because they can triple the pay for Brock and Saudi?
honestly, I still don't think they're going to make it to Saudi.
So they're going to end it before it even gets to any of these
Well,
big
no,
shows.
no, not as far as the feud. I mean, the pay-per-view. I don't think they're going to be able to go over to Saudi because of what's going on over there.
Well, dude, they blocked it. They keep promoting it. So until they say something different, you know what I mean? I mean, it's
Yeah, no,
happening,
no, I get you,
right?
but yeah,
And if it doesn't happen, then the backup would be Indianapolis or something like that. So they do got a
yeah,
backup plan in case it doesn't go down. But I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know. We really don't
right.
know, right? Like, I mean, where do the wrestlers stand on this? Do they want to go?
I,
Right?
yeah,
A lot of people aren't talking, and they're not talking because they're fear of losing their job and what have you. I mean, let's look at UFC 250. I'm not sure how big of a UFC fan you are, brother man. But Sean Strickland, the middleweight champion, right? Very
hmm
outspoken. He's not allowed to come to the show. He's been banned by his own promotion because he spoke out against Israel, right?
you can't. They don't want you to
And,
burn that
and he
money.
is one of the biggest names that generates their numbers just because of how he is. Check out Sean Strickland. He is, like you said, he is Michael Hayes. He sounds like a racist. He comes off as a racist, but he's not in any way, shape, or form. What you see is what you get. Basically, what he is your dad and my dad back in the day, the way they talked, right?
Right, right.
Like Bear, let's talk about this very quickly, then we're going to wrap it up. Okay, this has nothing to do with wrestling. This is just more of where we come from. We grew up, and if I may speak, and if I'm
Yeah,
incorrect, please correct me. Okay, Bear and I grew up at a time where we knew what was racism and what wasn't racism. Okay,
definitely.
and that's using the terminologies that people say, oh, you can't say that, oh, you can't say that, but we used to say it all the time to each other because we knew the difference, right?
Mhm.
I think this comedian Bill Burr said it best. Okay, Bill Burr said it best. It's like white people screwed themselves just by the way they deliver the word, right?
Facts, facts.
Okay. For example, a white person would say, "Yeah, that fucking Asian," right? But
Yeah.
colored people would say, and I would say, I think people say, "Yeah, that Asian motherfucker."
Yep.
What sounds more intrusive, A or B?
Hey.
There you go. But it's just the way it's delivered. We knew the difference. Bear, if you and I were buddies growing up in high school back in the 90s when we were in high school, okay, you probably graduated in 91, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I graduated in 93. Okay. So even if we were in high school together, you and I were buddies. I could come up to you and go, "What's going on, my brother?" And things like that. I could call you the N word,
Yeah,
perhaps. Right. Perhaps
yeah,
I could. I could say it, right? But you would
right.
know the difference if I came at you with the N word
Oh yeah,
in an aggressive manner or in a friendly manner.
exactly.
I'll give you a prime example of that. 1999, I was at Orchard Park in Buffalo watching the Steelers against the Bills. Okay. The night before, we were in Niagara Falls in Toronto, in Niagara Falls on the Canadian side before we crossed over for the football game on Sunday.
Hmm.
From the drive from Toronto to Niagara Falls, I probably drank a 26 or a Crown driving there. Now, I wasn't driving, I was in the back seat, but I was just drinking this
Right.
bottle. We get to this club. There's a couple of black dudes standing up there. I walk up to them, right? All 6'1" of me, 275 pounds at the time. Big boy, right?
Right.
I walk up to these two dudes. They had Steeler hats on. Okay. And you know me, I'm a Steeler guy. And thank you for the beautiful pictures of me with the mustache and the Steelers hat. I loved how you got that in there. Beautiful. After this, I'm going to shave off the rest of this and just keep the mustache and see how it looks. I walked up to these dudes with my Steeler hat on, put my arms around them, and I looked at this guy, looked at this guy. They both looked at me, and I said, "What's up, my?" They look at each other, they look at me, and next thing we're all embracing and we're drinking, and we've been drinking all the way that night. We woke up the next morning, started drinking and going to the football game. We became like best of buddies, and I'm still in touch with those guys. Prime example of we knew the difference.
It, 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 it is like you said, it is your meaning of a word.
Yeah.
It's how you say it. And as I tell my wife this, I tell my kids this, know your audience.
Yeah.
There- There's certain things around certain people you can't say.
No.
Then there's some you can say whatever, any old thing. But
But see, Bear, I got this one problem. Everyone here, if you look here very closely, right? You can't see it. We all have it though. It's called the switch.
oh yeah,
Mine broke. Mine broke a long time ago. So sometimes I'm really unfiltered, right? Like I went to this party one time, and I apologize now. I apologize then. I went to a party and someone asked me, and this is when I was big in spirits, right? I wanted bourbon, I wanted different spirits. I wasn't into beers. I was into a
right.
nice whiskey, a nice scotch. And someone offered me a glass of wine. I said, wine is for fags. Unbeknown to me, this party that I was at was 99% homosexual. It was one of those moments where the music stopped, you hear the record, and all these dudes look back, and I'm just standing there with this whiskey. I'm like, sorry. They're like, okay, carry on. What they just
Every now everything is offensive. Everybody's feelings matter.
oh, dude,
Everybody got to have the trophies.
we grew up in a time where everyone gets a medal now. No one knows how to lose. No one knows how to do anything. Everyone's offended. You're right, man. It is what it is. It sucks for old guys like us.
Yeah. Well, like I said,
Well, we're also grandfathered in, brother. We're lucky. We're the last generation that's grandfathered
yeah.
in that can get away with this stuff in about 5 years' time, right? And that's what I'm
Right.
looking forward to. Like, there's this park bench that I found, and I walk by it. I drive by it every day on my way to work or wherever I'm going. I always see that bench. And I said, 5 years, you and me, 5 years, man. Like,
I, I I sit and do my podcasting, and my window is right out here.
nice.
I look and I see kids, and I'm like, oh, I just want one of them to come on the grass. Like, get your ass off my
Oh, dude,
grass.
I want to be that. I just want to be that guy who sits on the bench and just talks shit, and everyone looks at you and goes, "Oh, wait a minute, he's from the '70s,
Yeah,
right? Let him be, right? We can't say nothing to him, right?
right.
I want to be that guy. That's my, you know, life isn't that bad if that's my aspiration right now. To be that old guy who can talk shit, the last of the old guys who can talk shit.
Hey, You got to have aspirations. I
And
love
that's
it.
why I'm going to the gym every day. I'm working out. I'm doing it, like training and getting back into shape so I can be that buffo guy sitting on the bench talking shit. Right? There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Bobby Sampson. He is.
Professor Bear.
And we are Professor and the Samp, your Monday morning drive show. Yes, we're going back to that again, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, we are.
We are finding everything the way we need it to be. So this week on Monday Night Raw, we got a couple more qualifying matches. We'll find out what's happening with the Bloodline story, how that's going to play out. We'll get a clearer picture of the two semifinals, and we'll get an idea of who will be facing who. I don't think this King of the Ring winner is going to be someone from SmackDown. It has to be a Raw person or someone. Whoever it is, it's going to be challenging Roman because Roman doesn't have anyone right now.
Right. And LA Knight has just been on and on. They haven't did anything with him. I think this is a perfect time. If they're going to catch anything with him, this is the time to do it.
Well, we look at the two qualifiers that are left for the men, okay? One has, I almost have a feeling we're going to get Jey Uso winning one.
No, because Jay is
No, dude, this makes sense. This makes sense now. Okay, yep. But here's the reality of it. You got Jey Uso where Roman told them to go and win it and get yours. We're getting a different Roman here. He wants everyone to have the title, right? That's kind of like the good guy tribal chief we're kind of seeing.
Yeah.
So maybe we have something there. Maybe you do have something there. LA Knight and him are in this match. They are kind of going back and forth. This should be interesting.
Jay's a hothead, so
he's a hothead. And even Jacob said, "Hey, I have no issue with you. I acknowledge you, but I don't acknowledge your punk ass cousin." So, like I said, there's so many multiple storylines. If it's like a tree, there are a lot of branches that are growing here that can be great stories here later on down the road.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe we're too quick to judge Triple H.
If nothing else, please give Jimmy a singles title. Let him win the Intercontinental title.
Well, maybe this is what gets it off of Trick, and we get that Gunther and Trick feud, which I guarantee people will realize they didn't. Pardon me. I guarantee if we get a Trick Gunther feud, people will realize this is the feud that they needed that they didn't know they needed.
Yes. And
there you go.
Look, if nothing else, I'm not going to talk nothing bad about Trick Williams because after that slap he gave Ricky Saints, I don't want none.
No, that was funny. That was funny. I'm telling you that Trick Williams is something special, man.
Yes,
I don't know if it's lightning in a bottle. I don't know if he can sustain it, but whatever he's doing right now, it looks like a long-term plan. You can't get tired of the guy. You can't get tired of him.
I hope he's in for the long haul.
Heel or face, I love the guy.
Yeah, he just money. He to me, a young version of The Rock. He's so similar, but with his own take.
And he can wrestle.
Yes. Yes.
There you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the Samp. He's Professor Bear. Mama T and the Marks are tuning up. They're ready to sing us out. We will see you guys next Monday morning. Until then, stay blessed.
They're Professor and the Samp. Yes, Professor and the Samp. One's a historian, the other loves to chat. They talk about the fights, all the slams and lights. It's wrestling mayhem day and night. They're Professor and the Samp. Yes, Professor and the Samp. Their takes are quite insane. The wrestling world's their game. They break it down.